मेजरली गवर्नमेंट का दो एजेंडा था, दैट वाज लैंड रिफॉर्म्स and some farm laws, initial farm laws, so that farmers can work. And infrastructure, first 5-year plan, when you check, you'll get all these things. You'll study in economy part also. Infrastructure, energy sector. These were some of the broader agendas of the government after the general election. 1951 general election happened and Nehru government was focused on these laws. Obviously बात है ना कि when we have to build a nation, how will we build it? रेलवे लाइंस कैसे बनेंगी? अब ब्रिटिशर्स की रेलवे लाइंस यूल सी तो वो हेडक्वार्टर टू हेडक्वार्टर थी, जैसे मद्रास टू कैलकाटा टू बॉम्बे, बट वी हैव टू बिल्ड इट थ्रू विलेजेस आल्सो. हाउ विल गेट द लैंड? उसके लिए तो हमें लैंड रिफॉर्म्स करना ही पड़ेगा. फर्स्ट थिंग, हाउ वी विल बिल्ड द ऑफिसेस? पोस्ट ऑफिस कैसे बनेंगे? स्कूल्स कैसे बनेंगे? हाउ वी विल डू ऑल दीज थिंग्स? गवर्नमेंट के पास कहां से आएंगे रिसोर्सेस? लैंड कहां से आएंगे? रेवेन्यू कितना था हमारे पास? वेरी लेस रेवेन्यू. तो लैंड रिफॉर्म्स करना हमारी मजबूरी थी ऑब्वियसली. तो लैंड रिफॉर्म्स करना ही था, बाकी सारी चीजें करनी थी. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए हमारे पास लैंड चाहिए, सबसे बेसिक चीज. तो इसीलिए फर्स्ट थिंग विच विल सी इन आवर after the general election of 1951 is that we did a lot of land reforms, and many of those land reforms are in question till date. Till date the cases are going on, although we have sorted most of the land reforms, but till date also you'll see a lot of cases in Supreme Court in the land reforms, according to the land reforms. As when I was working in Supreme Court, there were almost 2000 to 3000 cases per day, new cases per day that was coming in Supreme Court related to land reforms. Now also it is बहुत सारी चीजें होती है उसमें. सीलिंग होती है, चकबंदी होती है. सीलिंग इज लाइक यू हैव दिस मच ऑफ लैंड एंड गवर्नमेंट पुट्स अ सीलिंग कि इससे ज्यादा लैंड नहीं हो सकता आपके पास. So you go to court that it is infringing my right. Now it is not a fundamental right, but at that time in 1951, right to property was a fundamental right. You might have studied this in fundamental right. So this was the challenges which you will see in the constitution, and how we resolve these challenges is the story of whole basic structure of doctrine. Any doubts still here? Online students, any doubt? Okay, fine. So अब we'll see the contradictions which we were facing when the first government came into power. So the contradictions you can write. The first contradiction was between fundamental rights and DPSP. Now, what are fundamental rights? These are the very basic rights which you get. Without it, you cannot survive in any country, right? These are the very basic and negative rights. Why I'm calling it a negative right? Come on, people, you have studied fundamental right. Answer me this. Why fundamental right is a negative right? Yes, great. Very good. So it is always telling the state that you should not do this. That is why we are calling it a negative right. It is always telling the state that you should not do this, and hence it is enforceable. You might have studied this, na, ki fundamental right is enforceable. Why we call it enforceable? Because you can always go to the court if someone infringes your fundamental right. And how can you go to the court? By which article? By article. Which article? You will directly go to the court. 32. You need a lot of revision. No problem. After this class, you will not need any revision. So through article 32, you will directly go to the court every time someone takes your fundamental rights, and it is telling the state that fundamental rights should be maintained. What not to do? All the restrictions are given into the fundamental right. Whereas when you see the DPSP, what is a DPSP? It is the Directive Principles of State Policy, as the name suggests. And what is Directive Principles of State Policy? That what state should do, what state ought to do, right? What it should be. Like, there should be equal distribution of resources. When I was talking, so equal distribution of resources होगा कैसे? Government के पास तो है नहीं funds. आएंगे कहाँ से funds? When government will take it away from you and give it to them, then the funds will come, right? But initially हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? ऐसा बवाल हो जाएगा देश में. गवर्नमेंट अभी बनी है, गिर जाएगी, फिर बाहर से आ जाएंगे कुछ लोग. So what government should do was in DPSP कि ये चीजें होनी चाहिए, but when the time will come, the government should make law on it. So जब DPSP enforce, when can DPSP be enforceable? It is not enforceable, right? It is not enforceable. But when it becomes enforceable, write all these things. Correct questions have come and can come from these topics. So DPSP is not enforceable. We all know that. We have studied that. But how DPSP can become enforceable? Can it become enforceable? Just a minute. Let them answer. Can DPSP become enforceable? Try करो. Yes, no, कुछ भी. So see, DPSP is not enforceable. It is clearly written, but it can become enforceable through a law. When Parliament passes the law, then it will become enforceable, right? तभी तो लिखा है ना. अदरवाइज अगर enforceable ही नहीं था तो why would a moral science की बुक में लिख देते, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखने की क्या जरूरत थी? So they can become enforceable, but through a law by the Parliament. In the Constitution, they are not enforceable. तो सबसे बड़ा contradiction DPSP और fundamental rights में था. When you see fundamental right, Article 19(1)(f) was there, and Article 19(1)(f) was right to property. At that time, it is now not there. And इसका सीधा contradiction किससे था? Article DPSP का 39B and 39C से था. What 39B and 39C says? You have studied this. Try to answer it fast. You should do this. You should answer this. No issues. Just revise your concepts. Keep on revising it. And whenever you are coming to class, just try ki once what is going on. Achha, your topic was not told to you. Ki what topic I am going to discuss. Maybe not, na? No problem. Chalo. Koi nahi. So Article 39B and 39C, both of them talks about common good, material resources. 39B talks about ki material resources जो है ना, that should be redistributed. That should be redistributed for the common good. मतलब बेसिक सी बात ये है भाई कि मेरे पास 100 है तो आपके पास भी 80 या 85 होना चाहिए. तो इसी की बात कर रहा है. और 39 जो सी है, दैट आल्सो टॉक्स अबाउट कि कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ वेल्थ नहीं होना चाहिए. लाइक समवन इज वेरी रिच, ही इज वेरी पावरफुल एंड होल विलेजेस लैंड इज हिज, कंप्लीट विलेज इज हिज. यू माइट हैव हर्ड ना इन योर प्लेस दैट ही वाज द महाराजा ऑफ दैट village and he has all the lands. So concentration of wealth नहीं होना चाहिए. Government should impose some ceiling and take away his land. अब प्रॉब्लम क्या है? अब यार ये हमने डाल दिया डीपीएसपी में जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज थी, और फंडामेंटल राइट्स में जिनकी लैंड हम ले रहे हैं, जिनका वेल्थ हम लेंगे, उनके लिए हमने फंडामेंटल राइट्स में राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी दे दिया है. एवरी टाइम द गवर्नमेंट विल गो नॉकिंग ऑन देयर डोर, गिव मी योर लैंड और गिव मी योर मनी, दे विल स्ट्रेट अवे गो टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड कोर्ट विल स्टे द ऑर्डर. फायदा क्या है? फायदा क्या है वो देने का? फिर होगा कैसे? मतलब हाउ विल वी डेवलप एज अ कंट्री? यही प्रॉब्लम्स थी. एक तो ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन था, और भी बहुत सारे कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस थे. ऐसे बहुत सारे 9-10 कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस यू विल गेट इनटू इन योर इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. दूसरा कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन यू सी, आर्टिकल 14 टॉक्स अबाउट, ये तो पता होगा, राइट टू इक्वालिटी. right to equality, and it is a broader article, right? It is a broader article. Then comes its dimensions. 15 जो है, that talks about equality into education. 16 equality into work opportunity, right? Then titles, and then all these things. So 14 is a broader article which talks about equality, and 15 talks about equality into education. Correct? Now इसका सीधा डायरेक्ट अगर आप देखोगे तो यहां पर डीपीएसपी के आर्टिकल से सीधा इसका कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है. आर्टिकल 46 इफ यू सी इन योर डीपीएसपी, दैट टॉक्स अबाउट कि जो शेड्यूल कास्ट या शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स हैं और इकोनॉमिक वीकर सेक्शंस हैं, शेड्यूल कास्ट और शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स या इकोनॉमिक वीकर सेक्शंस जो हैं सोसाइटी के, यू कैन गिव देम स्पेशल रिप्रेजेंटेशन इनटू एजुकेशन. अब इसका सीधा फिर से कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है यहाँ पे. Every time government goes to do something, they will straight away go to the court. एक और बहुत बड़ा contradiction है, and that is Article 25 to 28. What does Article 25 to 28 talk about? Freedom of religion, majorly. And then in DPSP, you are saying into Article 44 that bring uniform civil code, bring UCC. आज तक नहीं आ पाया. Bring UCC. फिर शाहबानो case and all these problems were there. यहाँ पे आपने क्या दिया कि there should be a uniform civil code for everyone, और यहाँ पे you are giving them right of freedom of religion. They can also propagate their religion. सब कुछ कर सकते हैं in terms of religion. They can set up their institutions, religious institutions also. One of them I have studied also. I was from Jamia, so I know. So you can do everything here. But here you are saying that bring uniform civil code. So how the government will work? They will every time they will go to the court. और इन सारे cases, ये सारे cases तो आज भी चल रहे हैं, तो आज भी sort नहीं हुए हैं. You will see 15, हालांकि 15(4) अभी will study, but you will see कि contradictions यहाँ पर भी हैं, contradictions यहाँ पर भी हैं. इनके तो सारे cases आज भी चल रहे हैं. ये सारे cases जो शाहबानो बेगम और ये सारे cases पढ़ेंगे हम जब we will study this. I don't know, you might have studied or not. You have not studied these cases. शाहबानो you have not studied. तायरा बानो, हुसैन आरा खातून, not studied. No problem यार, कोई नहीं, स्पेशल क्लास रख लेंगे और मैं कर लेंगे जो जो नहीं पढ़ा है मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव से. ठीक है. तो अभी क्या है कि ये सारे जो आर्टिकल्स हैं इनका आपस में कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है, प्रॉब्लम है. बट पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू वाज ऑफ दिस सॉर्ट कि आई विल नॉट लुक एट any of these contradictions, and when my government will come, because people will directly choose me, I will take very strong steps. I am going to make important land reforms. और इसमें से ना 1950 में बिफोर द जनरल इलेक्शन एक और चीज इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये हुई थी कि 1950 में कुछ कोशिशें की भी गई थी. 1950 में एक लैंड रिफॉर्म लाया गया था जिसको बिहार लैंड रिफॉर्म कहते हैं. दिस वाज ब्रॉट, लैंड रिफॉर्म वाज ब्रॉट इन बिहार एंड इट वाज चैलेंज्ड, और गवर्नमेंट की बहुत बुरी तरीके से हार हुई थी. इसमें का एक इंपॉर्टेंट केस था कामेश्वर सिंह वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ बिहार. एंड हु वाज कामेश्वर सिंह? I am writing in short form, you write in full form. You are seeing UPSC के पेपर्स देखते हैं आप? Previous years देखा है पेपर्स? Lot of judgments has been asked in previous 3 to 4 years. Mains also, mains में तो directly environment की judgments पूछ ली थी. And prelims also, they are asking a lot of judgments. And through judgments, they are asking the reasoning, they are asking the analytical part in prelims also. That is why you have to remember all these cases and also the reasoning behind these cases. So Bihar, anyway, we'll study now. So Bihar Land Reforms Act came and that was challenged in Kameshwar Singh versus State of Bihar. और reasoning क्या थी? Simple थी कि भाई you have given me Article 19(1)(f) and you are promising me right to property here. And then when you are promising me right to property, then why you are taking my land? So he straight away went to the court. And who was this person? He was the Maharaja of Darbhanga, which comes under Bihar. So his name was, his complete name in the court was Maharaja Dhiraj Kameshwar Singh, Kameshwar Prasad Singh versus Union of India. ऐसे करके पूरा स्टेट ऑफ बिहार का केस था 1950 का. When it went into the Patna High Court straight away reprimanded the government and said you cannot take his land. And whole Land Reforms Act of Bihar was said off as unconstitutional by the Patna High Court. And Kameshwar Singh won that case in Patna High Court. And then government went into the Supreme Court. And the case was going on in Supreme Court.